Please be aware that this video contains flashing images that may trigger seizures in individuals with photosensitive epilepsy. Please take this precaution seriously to protect your health. Additionally, the video includes loud voices that could be distressing for individuals with ADHD, ASD, or noise sensitivity. Adjust the volume accordingly. If you have concerns about how this video may affect you, please consult a healthcare professional before watching. Viewer discretion is advised, and this EAS scenario is not intended for viewers under the age of 13. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
They said it was just a game, a flash of speed, a touch of flame. But the screen cracked, and the monsters came. No pause, no quit, no second chance. You're strapped inside the death dance. Engines wail like tortured cries, and twisted steel becomes your skies. You drive, but you're not the same. Your hands shake, your heart's aflame. Brake lights smear like blood train. Every mile driven touches the pain. Crash breaker dreams, nightmare born. Metal teeth and sirens turn. Roads remember every sin, and every record still written. Welcome back to Hell's Own Street. One more round, no defeat, no response here, no arcade thrill, just broken bones and time to kill. You thought this world was built for fun, but now the game is just begun.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government, the Canadian government, and the Department of Transportation. At approximately 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple Department of Transportation agencies across North America have reported an alarming rise in high-speed reckless driving. Authorities have observed a mass increase in aggressive road behavior, including excessive speeding, intentional collisions, and dangerous overtakes. Avoid major highways in the following locations throughout the United States: Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, Miami, Dallas, Seattle, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Canada, Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Montreal. The Department of Homeland Security and Canadian Security Intelligence Service are monitoring the situation for signs of coordinated activity. Avoid unnecessary travel. Remain alert and drive cautiously. Do not engage with aggressive drivers. If you witness reckless driving, call 911 immediately. Remain off the roads if possible. This concludes our message.
Your cooperation is kindly requested as an important message from the Alert Ready Emergency Alert System is imminent. Please stand by.
Votre coopération est sollicitée car un message important du système d'alerte d'urgence alerte réduit est imminent. Veuillez patienter.
Your cooperation is kindly requested as an important message from the Alert.
Canada has issued a civil danger warning due to a sharp rise in traffic accidents across provinces bordering the U.S., including Ontario, British Columbia, Quebec, and Alberta. Over the past 72 hours, over 800 people daily have been injured in high-speed, multi-car collisions, with 50+ in intensive care, though no deaths have been confirmed. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, and Montreal have elevated emergency response levels. Authorities advise avoiding major roads unless absolutely necessary, using public transit, and staying alert for dangerous driving. No foul play or terrorism is suspected. A joint investigation with U.S. authorities is ongoing. Stay tuned to official updates from Public Safety Canada.
Will certainly help. And in a moment we'll nip off to Portugal to see if England's ball is a hot one, Michael and John Ross. And why don't we start with a look at the seedings and possible scenarios. England have been drawn in Pool 2 alongside Germany, Spain and Italy. And three nations worth avoiding, I would have thought, at early stages.
Very much so. I mean, it's a matter of who you want to play against and who you want to avoid. You look at Pool 1, avoid the French at all costs, and maybe want to play Sweden. Then you go to Pool 3, avoid the Dutch. And
you'd want Denmark there, wouldn't you?
Very much so. No, you'd want Russia, and then you go to Pool 4. I think you avoid the Swiss and maybe play against the Latvians. I think it's important to get off to a good start in Euro 2000. England got off to a bad start against the Portuguese, and they're always in the back foot and never really recovered. Even though they got a good result against the Germans, they had to win the final game.
This is an activation of the emergency alert system. This message is transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. This is not a test. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, in coordination with the Department of Transportation and local law enforcement agencies, has issued a civil danger warning in response to a rising wave of reckless driving incidents across the region. In recent days, emergency responders have been overwhelmed by the number of crashes and fatal collisions caused by high-speed street racing, DUI-related accidents, aggressive driving in school zones and residential areas, fleeing law enforcement, disregard for traffic signals and pedestrian crossings. These incidents have resulted in numerous injuries, loss of life, and severe property damage. All citizens are advised to remain vigilant. Do not engage or approach reckless drivers. Instead, report dangerous behavior immediately to local authorities. Law enforcement agencies are now operating under enhanced enforcement protocols. This includes roadblocks and DUI checkpoints, aerial and highway surveillance, immediate vehicle impoundments, maximum legal penalties for offenders. Parents are urged to speak with young or inexperienced drivers about the dangers of reckless driving. This reckless behavior must tend to prevent more lives lost. Remain tuned to local media outlets for official updates and instructions.
Homeland Security, do not drive, do not activate your car radio. This is a national emergency. The United States government has confirmed the existence of an underground organization known only as Crash FM, responsible for a rising wave of vehicular violence, mass civilian casualties, and citywide disruption. Crash FM was discovered broadcasting illegal FM signals across the country, using coded messages to incite mass street races and coordinated urban chaos. Their broadcasts are highly organized, yet untraceable. Their followers, loyal, relentless, and often disguised as civilians. Over 12,000 deaths have been linked to these broadcasts. The number grows by the day. Entire neighborhoods have become battlegrounds of twisted metal and fire. Effective immediately, a federal driving curfew is in place. All civilians are ordered to remain off the roads between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Any individual caught engaging in reckless driving or responding to FM call signs will be considered a hostile actor under the Emergency Urban Act. If you hear voices telling you to race, if your radio changes on its own, if someone tells you Crash FM is freedom, turn it off, drive away, report it. This isn't adrenaline, it's war.
This is the BBC Emergency Service broadcast. We regret to inform viewers and listeners that all scheduled BBC programming has been indefinitely suspended due to escalating interference and violent activity linked to the rogue faction known as Crash FM. Over the last 48 hours, Crash FM operatives have taken control of key communication networks, flooding frequencies with propaganda, surveillance overrides, and high-speed demolition strikes across broadcasting infrastructure.
Over on BBC One, coverage of Tim Henman's exciting match at Wimbledon continues, which means that here on BBC Two, the latest from your local BBC News Centre now. Digital viewers should press TV and button 2 on their remote control.
Enjoy it while it lasts. The tube will shut down in 24 hours as talks to halt the strike.
We interrupt regular programming to give you a message by Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by for further information. We interrupt regular programming to give you a message by Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by for further information. The BBC has interrupted its regular programming at the request of Her Majesty's Government. The current threat level is emergency. This means you must take immediate action to protect your life. The United States government has just confirmed that Crash FM is not a media outlet, but a hostile insurgent force responsible for coordinated attacks on global information networks. Authorities believe this network has infiltrated communications systems across multiple nations. Interference, misinformation, and targeted digital sabotage have already begun. Do not respond to or engage with any Crash FM broadcasts. They are weaponized. They are dangerous. Emergency services are mobilized. All citizens must stay tuned to this BBC News for real-time verified updates. Stay alert, stay safe, protect your life.
Allergies used to take the fun out of games. Now, I'm Claritin Clear.
Today, I found another level of clear. Claritin Clear.
Claritin Clear means non-drowsy 24-hour relief from your sneezing, runny nose, and itchy eyes.
Up here, I gotta be alert. Claritin relieves my toughest symptoms without putting me in a fog. One pill, 24 hours, and I'm in control of my allergies.
Claritin, non-drowsy 24-hour relief.
There's clear.
Stay off the roads at all costs. Do not trust the voices of Crash FM. The event type is a national emergency issued by the National Emergency Management Agency in coordination with the Department of Homeland Security. For the past hour, the Canadian and the United States government have confirmed the existence of Crash FM, an underground network encouraging drivers to deliberately cause crashes for entertainment and profit. Crash FM has led to widespread chaos on the nation's roadways. The fatalities from these reckless incidents are estimated at approximately 100,000, with an additional 1 billion people affected by both physical injuries and psychological trauma. Many individuals are experiencing severe emotional distress, desensitization, and trauma as a result of the media's influence. Reports indicate that Crash FM's broadcasts have been designed to normalize and encourage reckless behavior, with an alarming number of individuals engaging in high-speed collisions, dangerous driving stunts, and reckless acts that risk their lives for entertainment. These incidents are not just isolated accidents. They have created a culture of chaos where drivers are encouraged to sacrifice themselves for viral moments and media attention. The public is urgently advised to stay indoors and avoid all highways, roadways, and crowded areas at all costs. Authorities are actively working to contain the situation. Stay informed through official channels for further updates and instructions. Do not go outside. Do not go to the streets. Stay off the roads.
Transmitted at the request of the United States government and the United Nations. This is an emergency alert. The situation has escalated beyond control. A massive, coordinated vehicular assault has overtaken major roadways, highways, and urban centres across the globe. The rogue organisation known as Crash FM has transformed the streets into a war zone, turning vehicles into deadly weapons and forcing civilians into high-speed, life-or-death encounters. Once believed to be an underground movement promoting reckless driving and destruction for entertainment, Crash FM has now revealed its true agenda: complete societal collapse through engineered chaos. What began as a series of reckless crashes has evolved into a full-scale attack on civilization itself. Authorities report that thousands of vehicles, modified with reinforced armour, lethal weaponry, and advanced tracking systems, are being used to target anyone attempting to escape the carnage. Emergency responders have suffered catastrophic losses, and law enforcement is no longer able to maintain order. Hospitals are overflowing with casualties,
and power grids in multiple cities have been deliberately disabled. Surveillance footage confirms that Crash FM operatives are not just causing destruction, they are broadcasting it. Live feeds show high-speed massacres, catastrophic pile-ups, and targeted eliminations, all accompanied by eerie cheers from unseen spectators. This is not random mayhem. This is a calculated, coordinated assault on humanity itself. The government urges all civilians to seek an underground shelter immediately. This shelter must be difficult to locate, reinforced, and as deep underground as possible. Do not use any structure with large windows, fragile walls, or open access points. Standard evacuation routes have been compromised, and roadways should be avoided at all costs. If you are in a vehicle, abandon it immediately. Do not attempt to drive to safety. Crash FM operatives are actively hunting fleeing civilians. If you're already indoors, secure all entry points, barricade doors and windows with heavy furniture, shut off all lights and avoid making noise. Do not attempt to communicate with the outside world unless absolutely necessary. Use only shortwave radios or encrypted signals to avoid detection. If you are forced to relocate, move only under complete cover of darkness and avoid open roads at all costs. Military forces have been authorized to eliminate all rogue vehicles on site. Fighter jets and drone strikes have been deployed to neutralize high-speed convoys. Tactical strike teams are moving in on known Crash FM broadcast centers to disrupt their network and cut off their ability to communicate. However, their signal appears to be decentralized, making it nearly impossible to fully shut down. As a last resort, martial law has been declared worldwide. All civilian movement is prohibited. Any non-military vehicle found on the roads will be presumed hostile and eliminated. If you are still outside, this is your final warning. Get underground immediately. Those who do not comply will not be rescued.
This emergency session of the United Nations Security Council is now in order. We will proceed directly to our sole agenda item, the ongoing crisis within the United States and the growing global instability caused by the entity known as Crash FM. We have received intelligence reports confirming that all major American cities have fallen into chaos. Civilian casualties are projected in the millions, and remaining survivors are unreachable due to mass communication hijacking. Nations bordering the US have closed their borders, but Crash FM's influence is now spreading through digital networks, threatening a worldwide collapse. We must decide, here and now, on a course of action. I open the floor to representatives for statements.
We have exhausted all conventional methods of containment. Military intervention has failed. The United States government has ceased to function. Every attempt to shut down Crash FM's transmissions has been overpowered. The reports we've received paint a grim picture. Entire cities have turned into battlegrounds of destruction, with civilians acting as if they are part of some horrific sport. If we do not act decisively, it will spread. We must consider the final option.
This is genocide. We are discussing the extermination of an entire nation, but you are right. We are out of time. We have seen the footage. These people are no longer in control of their own actions. If we do not act now, we risk the survival of every nation. What choice do we have?
The United States is lost. The question is not if we strike, but when. I motion for an immediate nuclear response. We cannot allow this madness to consume the world.
Very well. The motion has been made for immediate nuclear action. We will now proceed to a final vote. Representatives, cast your votes. With a majority vote, the decision has been made. The United Nations Security Council has authorized a full-scale nuclear bombardment of the United States. The operation will commence within the next 30 minutes. May history judge us fairly. May God forgive us all.
The station is experiencing a state of emergency broadcast suspension. During this emergency broadcast suspension, the normal weather broadcast cycle, which typically provides outlooks on hazardous weather and weekly forecasts, has been suspended indefinitely. Instead, only messages related to the current state of emergency and statements from the United States government and Federal Emergency Management Agency will be broadcasted. Currently, a national emergency action notification is in effect for the entire United States, including Alaska, Hawaii, and U.S. territories, and will remain in effect until a national emergency action termination broadcast is issued. For those just joining the broadcast, this alert will be retransmitted shortly. This hour will be retransmitted shortly for listeners just now joining the broadcast. Please stand by. A dangerous meteorological situation occurring across the United States shelter in place immediately. The following message is transmitting at the request of the United States.
Catastrophic event has reached an irreversible stage. Over the past months, an unknown force identified as Crash FM has infiltrated global communications, hijacking radio signals, television networks, and online broadcasts, compelling civilians to engage in high-speed, lethal crashes. What began as a series of reckless driving incidents has spiraled into an all-out global disaster, with over 500,000 confirmed fatalities and over 2 million injuries worldwide. Cities are in ruin, highways are death traps, and emergency response services have collapsed under the overwhelming scale of destruction. The United States government and the United Nations urge all civilians to seek immediate underground shelter. The safest locations are deep underground bunkers, basements, or any enclosed areas with no windows and no access to roads. Avoid vehicles at all costs. Do not drive. Do not approach parked cars, and do not respond to engine noises. Communication devices should remain off as Crash FM has been using intercepted broadcasts to influence behavior. If you hear an unfamiliar voice on any device urging you to race or crash, you must ignore it. Do not engage. Do not respond. Do not leave your shelter under any circumstances despite all countermeasures. Crash FM's influence has proven impossible to neutralize as a last resort. A full-scale bombardment of the United States has been authorized. Strategic missile strikes will commence within the next 30 minutes. The goal of this action is to sever Crash FM's control at its source, before it can extend its influence to the remaining continents. All remaining survivors must seek shelter immediately. The safest locations are deep underground bunkers, fortified basements, or any enclosed areas with no windows, no access to roads, and complete radio silence. If you are receiving this message, turn off all electronic devices. Crash FM's influence is spreading through intercepted transmissions, urging survivors to join the chaos. Do not listen. Do not respond. Do not leave your shelter. Regular programming has been suspended for the duration of this emergency. Most stations proving news and information for your area.
is our final broadcast. Crash FM has won. The Earth is now a radioactive planet, unsuitable for all life. Everything we knew, everything we held, is gone. We tried everything. We launched every countermeasure, but the signal was too powerful, too widespread. Crash FM hijacked our satellites, our airwaves, and we couldn't stop it. We couldn't contain it. The United Nations has collapsed. Entire governments have fallen. World leaders have been confirmed dead. Some of them never even realized what happened before it was too late. We have lost contact with every major country. Every major city is gone. No one is safe anymore. There are no more ceasefires, no more negotiations, no more hope. If you want to survive, find shelter deep underground. You must stay there for an indefinite period. But even then, we cannot deny our fate. The world is dying. Crash FM has broadcast the end. There is nothing left but radiation and silence. It's too late. We failed. The Earth failed. And with it, humanity. The signal cannot be stopped. May you find peace in the time you have left.